Okay, good afternoon, everyone. It's going to be quite an exciting afternoon as Jurni presents what I have to offer you and how they can help you on the road to recovery in this very difficult time. I'm just here to give you a few housekeeping rules. You'll see there's the chat box, which some of you have already found. You can ask us any questions you want. There's also a Q&A, and we'll make sure that we address that Q&A and when the questions come up, and at the end of the webinar, we'll go through the questions that you might be having. I will now hand over to Women in Tourism, Lizelle Maurice, who will give you a short introduction to what you will be hearing this afternoon. Enjoy, everyone. Lizelle, up to you.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much. Thank you for that introduction. And yes, welcome to everybody. Thank you so much to Jurni for this workshop, for agreeing to do this workshop for women in tourism. And thanks to everyone for joining us this afternoon. We're looking forward to a lovely afternoon, well spent. So we want to also say thank you to Dr. Songelwa for availing her time to take us through this groundbreaking tourism app. And yes, we're looking forward to everybody sharing and asking as many questions as you possibly can. Yes, and we'll endeavor to answer. I know Chepo is also here to answer as many questions as well. So thank you everybody for coming on the call and just showing your interest as well. I'll hand over directly to Dr. Nomvuselelo Songelwa, because we don't want to take any more time. Are you happy to start immediately, Dr. Songelwa, or do you want to wait a few more minutes, say 2 or 3 more minutes for more people to come?
I'll be guided by yourself, Lizelle. I'm not sure from your side if you see any people coming on board, but I'm ready to start.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, we have a good number of people online.
Okay.
And suggest that we move to starting.
Okay, fine. So let me introduce Dr. Songelwa. Very well known, fondly known to us in the Eastern Cape, having been a Chief Operations Officer at the Eastern Cape Parks and Tourism Agency. So she was part of the Eastern Cape soil for a while. So she blessed us before Jurni decided to steal her away from us. Nevertheless, we're glad that she could have been part of our province for a little while. Dr. Songelwa holds a PhD in social science from the University of Witwatersrand, also a Master of Philosophy in Science Education from UWC, a Bachelor of Education and a Bachelor of Science from the University of the Transkei, as well as International Certificate of Environmental Education from Cornell University and Rhodes University, and she's attended the Gibbs Gordon Institute of Business and Mastering of Finance, General Management, and Women in Leadership courses from Gibbs as well. So really a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of experience from Dr. Songelwa, and we're privileged to have her share some of that this afternoon with us. Over to you, Dr. Songelwa, and thank you once again for allowing us to take us through this afternoon. Thank you so much. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Lizelle, for inviting us for this exciting time. For us, it's exciting because it's time, yes, that we have to really share something that we are really ready to launch very soon. You will recall when we were in Northwest last year as the Women in Tourism, that we were starting to talk about the plans of what we will deliver. And today we are really happy that we are going to be talking about something that has been realized. Again, I just want to welcome and thank all the participants that are here. We understand whilst the hosting is Eastern Cape, but we are joined by a lot of other colleagues throughout the country, and we are very excited that we're going to have this engagement with yourself. One of the things that you forgot to introduce me is that I am a mother of 3 and a grandmother of 6, and that is what I pride myself around. Yes, thank you very much, colleagues. Again, I think what we are just going to do is to really go through at a high level from my side in terms of who we are as Jurni, and at a high level also just talk about the value of the platform that we are developing for the country, which is a national capability. And I will also just hand over to Tshepo in the middle of my slides that is going to really talk about what you are interested about, the booking tool in particular. I know for sure that we have been in the last year since we were established in January. We had engagements throughout the provinces and in some national platforms talking about Jurni. Some of you might be aware, but for the benefit of those, I think it's important that we continuously really bring awareness of who we are, because we are a new kid in the block, in the tourism, travel and tourism sector. When we started working last year, we were implementing a concept that was as a result and an outcome of a collective wisdom from both the public and private sector that have actually leveraged investment that was available as a result of Amadeus, the global company that was had a contract with SAA. And through that investment, the Department of Tourism became a beneficiary of that investment in the country. So what normally happens when this investment, then the department starts to look at what is it that they can do for the country that they wouldn't have had the resources to do. And it's obvious that our national tourism sector strategy had identified some gaps, which I'm sure all of you had participated in, to actually say we really need an entity that is going to transform the industry, because the institutions that we have worked and that we have, had over some time have got national and provincial mandates of either tourism promotion and tourism development. But we have been struggling as a country to have a one-stop shop, a place where we can mine data that is going to inform all of us about making some strategic decisions. And that's exactly why Jurni was initiated. And what has happened is that over time, we have had the national support from what you see on the slides, the associations at a national level. This is not an exclusive partnership that we have. The colleagues with their membership, they continue to guide what we do, because by the nature of a Jurni is really an enabler of the tourism and travel industry in this country. As a result of that, we continue to really look for some network or some forums or some structure at a national level that are going to continue to actually inform us. Some of you might not have seen the CZA network forum that it's on the board, and they are also the new network that have joined us that are talking and representing the SMMEs, but we're really looking for more. We are collaborative in nature. We don't have our own structures. As a result, we work with the existing structures guided by not only the National Department of Tourism, but also the private sector. And all of you, you probably have had some engagements with us last year. So the next slide for us just really indicate exactly what we are about. Our strategic direction is about making sure that we provide access to the market, in particular for the SMMEs. And this is as a result of those gaps that have been identified in the National Tourism Strategy. And we actually do that through technology. We also are mandated to provide tourism business tools to ensure that, in particular, and the priority for SMMEs are able to manage and market their businesses. This is one of the, in fact, the a focus of today's presentation, which is really geared for SMMEs. So as we do that, and I think all of you might be aware that in fact, even the travelers globally have always been hungry for authentic experiences and different experiences. And we have to make sure that through technology, we optimize the search of those tourism products and services when the travelers are able to search. And this is the focus of the business tool and the visitor app that we are going to do. We regard ourselves as a digital disruptor in the travel and tourism industry. We acknowledge the fact that there are existing digital solutions that are within institutions, but it is the first time that the country has decided that we really need to actually integrate all the existing digital solutions, whilst at the same time ensuring that we develop the business tools that are going to enable some of the people that were excluded, in particular the small players. So those are the strategic directions that inform Jurni's mandate. Just in terms of the overview, we as Jurni are a tourism data hub. That is what we are supposed to do. We are collecting data. We are supposed also to collect data, not only from SMMEs, but also ensure that the disparate data, which is fragmented because we work in silos, because of the complexity of the industry, can actually be integrated into one. This is the core of Jurni. But over and above that, this is what the department mandated us to do. We need to be able to have a window through that tourism data hub, through which the travelers are able to have an eye to South Africa. And we are supposed to make sure that we have that information portal and the app. And over and above that, one of the core functions is what we have been talking about, is the rural SMME booking system that is also a business solution. So this is just an overview of the deliverables of Jurni. The next slide, please. I cannot be talking to you now about why digitalization is important for South Africa. I think the very fact that we have been invited by the colleagues to come and talk to you is that through this COVID era that we have just come out of, we all have reflected and we have actually realized that we need to position ourselves as a country in particular those SMMEs. And the reason why we are talking about this now, and some of you have probably had some discussions or have been exposed to the webinars throughout the last 6 months or so, and the trending message that has been coming out of those webinars was really about, we really need to be competitive as a country. We cannot then be competitive as a country without losing or forgetting the SMMEs that were previously excluded. And I think all of us are acknowledging that. And I think this is really the message that the SMMEs need to really understand. Make yourself visible. How do you look? How do you increase your visibility to not only the local market, but the global market? And also, what we have learned is that it is through digitalization, it is very easy for us to engage directly with customers and cutting a lot of middlemen and women that go in between what we are offering and what they are offering. And technology is actually providing that capability. We also have learned more over time, I'm not sure about you, that the online courses and capacity building are actually easier and are also cutting costs. So these are the capabilities that Jurni is also going to provide for the SMMEs, together with other solutions that are already in place. The next slide, please. What we have done over the last year, when we engage with the SMMEs throughout the country, we found out that there were barriers that the SMMEs articulated as a problem for them to be able to access technology. And what we needed to do is to have this kind of engagement with SMMEs that is going to make sure that we respond through technology and make sure that we are relevant to the colleagues on the ground. And here, without going through the slides, for instance, some of the people might resonate with as we are going through this COVID, the post-COVID era, especially in rural areas, you will find out that other people are saying there is unreliable telecommunication and the high data prices, which are an inhibiting factor for them to be able to engage. So some of the things we really need to be looking at as we provide these digital solutions is, what is it that we need to do to enable the people that are in the rural outskirts of this country to be able to access technology. The issue around the lack of ICT knowledge and a fear to actually use technology to, a lot of people are saying, I don't know where to start. When we were doing the pilot workshops throughout the country, we actually found out that we have some elderly people, in particular women, who have been part of the, who are business owners. And they were actually saying, I think I need to have a young person to be able to assist me to navigate through the system. But what we are saying is that we are going to demystify that kind of notion, because really, who taught you how to use Facebook before? Who taught you how to use Windows? It is just a way of navigating through that. And Jurni will be able to do that capacity building as we provide also that platform. Next slide, please. I don't want to go through those dots. What I am just going to, in the next 3 slides, just highlight to yourselves at a higher level, what are the benefits for SMMEs at Jurni. And I will go get allow Tsepo to focus more on the details of the booking tool. I have highlighted what the booking tool will provide, but what is more exciting for us is that this standardized and affordable booking tool that we are providing is totally different from what is currently existing in the market, because this is what the mandate was. Is we know that other booking tools are more expensive, and what happens at the end of the day is that what gets into the business owner's pocket is actually smaller. So what we have, secondly, what needs to happen is that these business owners must be able to have this tool, you know, from where they are. They must be able to access and manage their inventory. Tsepo is going to talk into detail around those kind of the capability of the SMMEs. So that is really what excites us. And when we were going through the country and piloting with some of the colleagues that we were able to talk to, people were very excited, and they actually said to us, it is a very user-friendly booking tool. You don't really have to be tech savvy to go and navigate through the booking tool. So in terms of the data hub that we are providing, what is exciting is that this booking tool is going to be integrated into the data hub, such that when we provide the insights in traveler trends and predictions, or in terms of the tourism performance, your data that is generated through the booking tool is also integrated into the data hub. Most of you will know that at this point in time, what is happening, we are struggling to have granular data that is happening. We've been asking ourselves most of the time, when a lot of people descend from Gauteng to Durban, or also go to ZCC in March, who captures that data? We also have engaged with other associations like the business events that say, we really feel that the data generated from the business events is not incorporated into the current tourism performance. We've also had the municipalities and the provinces saying exactly the same thing. So what we are saying, through the data hub, we will then be able to collect that granular data that is going to inform everybody, you know, in terms of strategic decision making at the different levels, at local and provincial and national level. But through the visitor app as well, you are going to be able to be accessible and reached by local and global travelers, because this is going to be a one-stop shop of all the information. Somebody who's sitting in Germany can actually say, I want to go to Lusikisiki, or I want to go to the Wild Coast. Immediately, there won't only be an established hotel that will come out, but we are going to have a content that is going to make sure that even those smaller SMMEs are actually profiled through the visitor app, and a global traveler or a domestic traveler is able to really seamlessly plan their trip, book, and is able to travel. And whilst you are traveling to your destination, you are also going to be exposed to some local events that might be happening or attractions to your destination, so that you can enrich your visitation. It's one of the key capabilities of this visitor app, which has always been a thorny issue around the tourist safety and security, is that you are able as a traveler to actually press a button whilst you are traveling if you feel that you are on, you need emergency services, or there is, your life is under threat. And that is also going to assist us as the tourism industry to actually respond timeously to the tourist emergency. So this is some of the capabilities that this visitor app and information portal will be able to do. I am going to give over to Tsepo to now really get in and talk about the booking tool and its capabilities. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, CEO, for the high level and outline in each of the areas of the business. I think without wasting time, I will get into talking about the booking tool. This country for the longest time has had a lot of SMMEs who are working using diaries, who are using papers, some they're using boards, some are using books to be able to manage who's coming. And they're able to also provide a manual receipt for someone who's coming in. They also have Word that they use, MS Word to do quotations, or Excel spreadsheets to write their invoices. And I think now we have come up with an answer in this initiative. And that is why the booking tool is referred to as Sinazo. We didn't have, but now we do. So basically, like the whole idea is to ensure that each and every SMME in this country is able to become more and more visible to the travel market. And to be able to do that, we need to ensure that we provide them with the technology that is user-friendly, and which is what we have made. Seamless, which is what we have developed to ensure that a traveler who goes online trying to find a place to stay in South Africa is able to come onto the Jurni platform, make a booking, transact, make payment, and the owner, the property owner, is able to view their reservation for the whole year. And they already can plan and say, okay, we see that 20 people are coming next week, 100 people are coming in the next 2 weeks. They're able to know at which point to buy for dinner or for breakfast, because they now have much more control and power. And also they will have buying power, because they know now how much money they're going to be making, because this will link directly to their bank account. And as a traveler is making a booking, the payment will be transacted. So it's the market access, and also to ensure that we can promote them and make them to become more and more visible and competitive. Preferably, we have started working with the rural SMMEs, and in our plan, we're saying rural, semi-rural, and urban. And the whole idea is to ensure that all the other technologies that are already in the country are not pushed out by Jurni. But Jurni is there to close the gap that exists in the market. We know that in the country, we have more than 30,000 accommodation services. We have attractions, we have experiences, we have tour guides, and all of these people need visibility. And we are providing an answer to give that, to provide the technology. So the property management system will ensure that they can update their rates anytime. It will ensure that they can provide invoicing online, quotation online. It will also ensure that they are able to make money and transact online. And also, they will be able to have access to the feedback. Basically, we had to develop a software within the booking tool. When somebody checks out, they will be able to provide a feedback and rate the service. It provides the CRM and back office. And as part of this initiative, we from Jurni side will train the SMMEs to be able to use the booking tool. I note a hand will come to your hand. So what solutions will the Sinazo bring? The first is the capacity building. our CEO spoke about some SMMEs not being able to use computers. That is why this was developed to ensure that there is less manual intervention or any need for one to be sitting behind a computer. The second thing is to obviously bring the democracy of technology, which says we need people to be inclusive. We need people to be able to compete. And the third thing, which is very, very important in this discussion, is that this system will be free. So meaning that we will, as we have already onboarded few properties all over the country, and we are going to be going on a roadshow across the country to onboard more and more people. And as we do that, each and every person will not pay a cent to be onboarded onto the journey. The only time that one will make a payment is when a customer a traveler comes onto the journey platform and they transact. And that's when we will then be able to make money. Otherwise, the training, the support will be made available for free, because this is an initiative that was designed to ensure that we provide access to market by the SMMEs. The fourth thing is the ability to gain back the control. Most of the time, most of the travelers that come into this country, they leave without being known. I travel a lot, and I've been to places whereby I was never even asked my name or surname, because I made the booking through whoever online, and I made a payment. I'm able to get there, and no one asked for my ID or passport or my address. This gives that power back. It also makes sure that we keep more travel and tourism money in the country. So what are the capabilities? And some of them I've already touched on. The first is easy to use web-based application, meaning that you can use it on your one website. It can be downloaded on the phone. Someone can go online onto the Jane platform or on your personal website. They will be able to make the booking. So there won't be any software installation. It's not something that you have to download, but it's web-based, so you can access it from anywhere. And with your user rights, you can, if you're traveling and you don't have a system, you're able to get to whatever place, go online, and be able to access it. You can use this online and offline. So basically, if there's no internet or ESCOM has happened, you are able to still see your reservations, people who are coming. And once there's a new update and you're back online, you'll be able to update. One of the security things that was mentioned by the accommodation owners in Soweto was the fact that they are not living there all the time. And they want to be able to see transactions and profile usage by their employees. This system provides that. So each and every person who uses the system will have their login details, and whatever activity they transact, whether they make a change to the booking, they change the rate, the owner will be able to see. So it will record any changes and transactions. So they will manage their rooms, their policies, their rates, and the bookings. They will also be able to see that this booking came through a website or a third-party distribution channel, or it came through a social media, whatever, where we expose them, they will be able to see where the booking came from. And so they will be also be able to do check-in, check-out, produce reports to housekeeping, and be able to see how much money they have made or how much money is outstanding if people have paid deposits, have not paid a full amount. And since December, as we were doing the pilots, a lot of people requested that we do a few things. One of them was a gateway. So they wanted us to develop a web-based system whereby all accommodations can be searched. We have done that. And in the next week, we will then start showing it off. I think everyone who's online will become the first to see it, because we have your email addresses, and we'll share a link for you to explore, to go in and look at it, and where possible, provide feedback. We have also developed frequently asked questions based on the pilot, where now we are able to know what are some of the issues that were raised and what are the solutions. The third thing is the reviews that we had to do, whereby in partnership with the tourism grading, we'll be able to say this property is graded as a 1, 2, 3, or 4, 5 star. And when people check out, they'll provide their feedback, which will consolidate as part of our mandate. The third thing is, the last thing is the pricing, which is the 5% on the confirmed booking. And in terms of the research that we did, this is the lowest in the market. So for one to be onboarded, obviously we will need to ensure that they are a business, whether as a sole business where somebody runs it from home. There are people who have not really registered their companies, but they're recognized by SARS. We'll take their business logos, their images, and then we will then onboard them onto the site. We are also providing self-service, whereby somebody can go online and do the onboarding themselves. But before we onboard anyone, those that have a Google platform will be able to get their data from there, making it easy so that they don't provide us with data from scratch. So if you already are online, but you don't have a property management system, we'll be able to get those out. So your personal responsibility will be to make sure that you manage your pricing, you manage and update the pictures, and the customer experience will always sit in your hands. As part of the initiative, we are required to support the TOMSA levy collection, which then also removes the burden from the property owners, because then we can collect it directly from the traveler to TOMSA without the money even touching your bank account. This, as we all know, contributes to the destination marketing by the South African tourism. The second partner is the Tourism Grading Council of South Africa. We will be partnering with, we have already had conversations, so we will support SMMEs to also get graded, as research shows that most foreign travelers want to be want to stay in a graded and verified accommodation. So I think in terms of the process going forward, our contact center has been set up. They are ready to take your calls, and they will be there to ensure that if you can't do it yourself, they do it for you. We will be running webinars from next week, Thursday. We're planning to run them every Thursday to bring in different provinces where we can be able to demonstrate the systems, where we can be able to onboard those that want to be onboarded. We have already spoken to all the provincial tourism agencies in terms of our collaboration. We've also started talking to them around having some of their employees be trained on how to use our platform. This will also help when somebody goes to a provincial agency to ask about this specific system. They can also be onboarded there. And where they need support, they will always call our contact center. There are already existing structures like Women in Tourism that we work with. We work with NAASA, we work with SACI, we work with FEDHASA, and we continue to look for opportunities to work with other associations or any structure that really supports the initiative to grow the tourism in the country. And we have other strategic partners that we travel around with, including, and most importantly, the Department of Tourism and South African Tourism and TBCSA, in terms of going to provinces with them to ensure that we continue talking about what we're doing. So the greatest news that I have is that Jurni has been talking about these systems for some time. As of 30 September, which is tomorrow, we have a fully functional system, which is ready for the market, which is ready for the travel, which is ready for tourism. And I think here, CEO, without getting carried away by the excitement that the system is ready, I'm left with this question in my head, and I would like to just put it upon yourself to maybe answer it. How to stimulate adoption of this technology for SMMEs in South Africa?
Thank you, Tsepo. Colleagues, I think throughout our presentation, we have really indicated the fact that our role is to demystify technology as mandated, in particular for the SMMEs. We are here to provide the training and the capacity building for business owners and also the institutions that we collaborate with. And therefore, we are really inviting and encouraging the structures like what the Eastern Cape has done to really engage with us so that we are able to train the ambassadors and make sure that all the SMMEs throughout the country are able to leverage this technology. We acknowledge that we have limited capacity at national level and we cannot be everywhere. So we are really, really pleading with yourselves to be part of the process and ensuring that really we transform the tourism industry. And that's basically for me, what is it that we are all about. And we have to really continue to engage and collaborate as a collective. So in conclusion, colleagues, for us is to really just say, be ready. Africa, the time is now. South Africa, the time is now. SMMEs, the time is now to rise stronger. Thank you very much. We will take any questions that can come.
Dr. Songelwa, could you have, is there one that you could show live now to the attendees?
Am I on? Yes. We cannot show it today because, as you know, in terms of governance, what we wanted to do is, in fact, just 30 minutes after this presentation, we have to show to our principals, and then we just make it a point that it is actually clean. That is the reason why Tsepo was saying, as from next week, what we really would like to do is to start these engagements with yourselves throughout the country once everything else has been validated, because what we don't want to do is to show or demonstrate something that is still not cleaned up in terms of technology or validated by the principals.
Okay.
I see Gwen has a hand. Gwen, I'm going to allow you to come into the meeting.
I'm here.
Go ahead, Gwen.
No, I didn't, sorry, my mistake, I didn't raise my hand, sorry.
Okay, all right.
There's a few questions that have come up on the chat. I think you might have answered them, but just to let you know, will the system be able to integrate link with online reservation systems like Knightsbridge and eRes? Don't know if you want to take that question.
Take it.
Yes. So, because this is a transformational initiative, we need to make sure that we also support that are already in existence. So there are two things that are very important in terms of your question, the question that you just read, Doreen. The first one is we are developing a booking tool for those that do not have. And we are developing, in fact, I think from today, I can't say developing. We have developed the booking tool, which is ready for the market. We have also developed a distribution channel. So what will happen is, as we start talking to all the other booking tools, we are looking at bringing them into that channel so that they can expose those that have. So we're dealing with people who do not have. We're also dealing with people that have. So those that have will be exposed into the distribution channel. Those that do not have will be provided with a booking tool solution, which they will use to manage their rooms, and then they will be exposed into the Jurni platform.
If I may just add into that response, as I had indicated earlier, the core mandate of Jurni is to ensure that we centralize the content. So the more the merrier. And what we are looking at is to ensure that whilst we're focusing on the SMMEs for those who did not have, but we also ensure that the existing solutions, like you have indicated, are also integrated so that we can be able to collect the data from all sorts of solutions that exist in the country. That is going to enable us to enrich the data that can be mined from the centralized data. I hope I am very clear. So what we will really do have as part of the strategic partnership we have is to have those discussion and the agreement with the existing solutions of how do we really do the integration. So we do really welcome the people with some solutions, and we also encourage in localities that people should be able to develop digital solutions that can be integrated into the centralized data hub.
I just saw another question from La Rochelle, and actually it just reminded me of something that I think I might have missed on my presentation. Recently, I was asked, who are you doing this for? And without saying SMMEs, I would like to bring the ecosystem in the tourism just to show how this is going to help. The first is the tour operators. The tour operators in this country, they sell packages. Sometimes it's difficult for them to get to know the new attractions and experiences because they are not online. Therefore, this gives them an opportunity to know about new accommodations or attractions or activities that they do not know. Tour guides are growing in South Africa, but they do not have a space where they're being exposed. Jurni Initiative needs to ensure that we can expose these tour operators. One of the ideas that we discussed recently in our ex-committee was, imagine having to go online and you find Tsepo, who's a tour guide from nobody, and you press, and then his voice come up and he introduces himself and he tells you about his experiences as a tour guide. That already starts to sell him to different markets depending on what the market is looking for. The third thing is accommodation services, because we want to expose accommodation. The attraction themselves, we need to give them technology to be able to transact online, the experiences, to be able to sell the experiences online, and be connected to other tour operators, tour guides. So we want to create a community where everyone can connect, interconnect using technology, be able to have a financial transaction and exchanges online without even having to exchange cash in paper. And lastly, travel agents, because it's important for travel agents to also work with SMMEs. So many travel agents have already started calling us saying, we want to work with small businesses, but they're not really exposed. So we went to Asata, where we presented to their board and about how this is going to work. And it was well received by the travel agents that were being presented there by their chairpersons or by their CEOs. So we will, as part of our roadshows into provinces, we will not just talk to SMMEs, but we'll talk to partners like strategic partners like this to ensure that they also know how they're going to be participating.
There was another question, Tsepo. It said, yeah, the last part of your second slide spoke about grading or grading with assistance with grading. Can you please elaborate more on that?
Yes, thank you for that, Lisa. So when this initiative was started last year, we went through meetings with departmental people, South African tourism, and the issue of tourism grading has always come up. Internationally, we know that there are certain markets like Chinese and Americans who want a star. So for them to stay at your property, they want to know that they can be guaranteed of the quality and experience that is being provided. And the Tourism Grading Council of South Africa is mostly respected in Africa and outside of Africa. Therefore, we as a business we need to ensure that we support SMMEs to be graded, which is why we've been having meetings with the Tourism Grading Council of South Africa to ensure that we help the smaller guys to be graded. One of the things was, what if they don't meet the requirements? Therefore, then they can be supported. We can also partner with other people outside of tourism, like CEDAs and other financial services providers, to also help SMMEs to be able to meet the grading standards or quality that they really want to see themselves being positioning themselves as at. So that will always be part of our initiative. As we go out, each and every person we on board, we check, are you graded or not? If they say no, we are not, we then send them information about how to get graded, and we monitor to ensure that we can support them over a year for them to be able to find a way to be graded.
Okay, thank you for that. There's another, I don't know if it's a personal comment from Anna Wiley on the chat. Well, you may have answered that already. Would this system work for tour operators who create itineraries on a personal basis? You mentioned that.
Yes.
And there's something about a young, energetic entrepreneur. I think read that. I think that's probably a personal question, not for the whole group.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Okay, I can't see.
It's on the chat. There's one from Leanne Buck. There's a question. Currently, the focus seems to be on SMMEs. Are large businesses excluded from being part of the tool? If so, what is the maximum capacity or business turnover limit?
So the initiative has always been put out to support SMMEs to enter the market. The big businesses will always want to participate. I cannot say it outright here in this meeting, what are the things that we are doing in the background to partner with big businesses. But I would encourage the person who's asking the question to get in touch with us. We have a strategy on how we're going to work with businesses to ensure that we still meet the mandate that we have been given to expose SMMEs, but also we find a way for the big guns with experiences to work with SMMEs. So we do have a strategy in place. In fact, we have had one of the big groups contacting us to say, how do we work with you? And we have already started engaging them in terms of how we see it work with them. So they are not being excluded. It's just that the mandate is for SMMEs to be exposed. However, we have a different strategy to deal with big businesses.
Okay. And then the last question I see here from Garrett Webster. How will you market in the various countries externally so that people coming from outside of South Africa know that they can use Jurni to book?
I think it's a very, very good question from Garrett, whom I've had an opportunity to meet. So as we go into the market, our focus is first to work in the domestic, and we have looked at the source markets that are actually working with third-party companies. We've already identified countries that search South Africa the most. So those are the countries that we'll start going to. Most people who are in marketing will know that driving traffic from all the countries will possibly come in billions. So the approach is to work in the beginning with countries that are really coming into the country. The other thing that we have started doing is to work with, talk to South African tourism, whom they work closely with embassies all over the world. We are going to be introducing a QR code that will then be sent to all the embassies. So when somebody goes to an embassy to apply for whatever, whether it's visa or whatever that they want to apply for to come to the country, they will also be able to have an opportunity to download the app while they're in their own country. We're looking at talking with DERCO in terms of how we can expose this on their site, that will also give us an opportunity to attract another traffic that we might not at this point be able to. I want to mention the fact that Jurni is a funded, seed-funded company, meaning that we might potentially not have those billions to go to all the countries. However, we have a strategy to make sure that the SMMEs will be reached, number one. Number two, to make sure that we will have those that want to come into this country access Jurni in different platforms. We're also looking at partnering with other platforms that are already in existence, and they will be able to expose Jurni in their own platform.
Super. You're happy with that, Gareth? Are there any other questions? Hands, feel free to ask. Comments? Any comments?
And maybe, okay. I was
again?
just going to say, in the meantime, whilst we are waiting for some hands to go up, just to add on to Tsepo's input to Gareth, is that what we have indicated is that we enable the travel and tourism industry. We are not a marketing arm of South Africa. So what we are doing as part of the work we do is to work very closely with SAT. And SAT tells us some of the things that we have to do to make it a point that we actually enable the SMMEs. And I think for me, that is very important, because a lot of people continue to see Jurni as either a competitor, or it's like there's duplication of efforts. It is very important that we are able to do that. Let me make an example. For instance, in the province where I came from, which is the Eastern Cape, there is an app that is there already. That has probably even an inventory of products, and they do the capacity building and the marketing. And all what we are saying is we will work together with the province to say we need to integrate the data that they do have into a central system. Through API, we can connect those existing apps that are there. Similarly, when we are talking about the big businesses, whilst the booking tool itself is only focusing on, at this point in time, on the SMMEs throughout the value chain, the tour operators and whatever, with big businesses, there is value in working with us, because what is going to happen is that we can have these discussions in terms of sharing the data, so that their current insights that they do have, they are integrative in nature, because that is exactly what the problem is at this point in time. Each and every subsector of the industry manages their own data, either pay someone else to be able to do that, and on their own they have the intelligence and the performance, but it is not integrating with the other subsectors. And that is where the value of Jurni will be, in particular with the big businesses that do have a booking tool. I just thought I needed to indicate the big business, the value proposition as well, so that people are not saying that we are only focusing on the SMMEs as a Jurni in general.
Yes, okay. Thank you so much. Are there no other questions? If there's no other questions, we'll ask Mandlakazi to do. Okay, I thought you had a comment, Mandlakazi. Mandlakazi had a couple of, okay, fine. She just says I must just read the comments first, sorry. Mandlakazi is our provincial chairperson of Women in Tourism in the Eastern Cape, and she says we're looking forward to continued collaboration in making sure that all members access this platform. And thank you for a great session. And on our behalf, I just want to say thank you as well to Dr. Songelwa and Chepo and to the Jurni team for the workshop and for just taking us through. We're very excited about the launch tomorrow and the official launch on the 1st of October. And yes, to the road shows as well. We're really looking forward to it and to big ambitions for the logistics. And thank you to all our members that could have joined us, as well as all our tourism stakeholders and partners, NDT, Maylene. Thank you to all of you, Bev. Thank you so much to everyone and to everybody else, our tourism stakeholders. Thank you so much. And there's some more comments coming through the chat. Yes, very insightful presentation. So thank you so much. If there's no other comments, any parting comments from you, Dr. Songelwa, Chepo?
No, thank you very much. We are really looking forward to collaborate, as you have indicated, and you know, we can't be more excited. Please do engage with us, colleagues, and I think that is what I just have to say now. We have to rise stronger as a collective.
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much. And we're right on time, even with the time as well. Thank you so much for everything. Have a wonderful afternoon, everybody.
Thank you very much.
My parting words is, this is the last presentation. From tomorrow, we're showing you live. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Oh, Mampala Mchabe's got a hand up. Mampala? Maybe unmute Mampala. Maybe she can't unmute herself.
Okay. We can take any other question even after this. I think a lot of people have gone.
Mampala, you are in now. You can go on.
Oh, okay.
Unless it was a mistake.
Okay. I think, yeah, we can go on. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, there, it wasn't a question. I was just saying goodbye. Oh, okay. Bye-bye, Mampala.
Thank you very much, Lizelle. Thank you
Oh,
very
you're
much,
most
guys, for
welcome.
inviting us. Yes, thank you
so
very much.
It's lovely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.